Office of Emergency Management, Corey Kubik. Corey, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bart.
Yeah, nice to have you here, and congratulations on the position. I understand you're fairly new in the role.
Yeah, so I started in the role back at the end of June, and excited to continue to be working in the emergency management field. Previously worked at Henry Ford Jackson for 8 years doing safety and emergency management there. So very familiar with the community and many of the organizations that are responding to emergencies in our community, but really look forward to expanding that role countywide now.
Awesome. Well, great to have you on board. Yeah, and I saw you having a little visit with Cindy Harrison on her way out. And yes, you worked closely with her for, as you said, 8 years. So, Office of Emergency Management, what does that mean? What is, a lot of people might not even realize the county has an Office of Emergency Management.
Sure. So the Office of Emergency Management is there to help prepare our citizens, our businesses, and ultimately also our government agencies, our response agencies, and our first responders for emergencies. So that's kind of the day-to-day work of what we do. And then when and if bad things happen, the Office of Emergency Management stands up our Emergency Operations Center, which helps to coordinate response between all the different local agencies that may be responding, private agencies that may be responding, as well as any of state and or federal assets that may be responding to help during an emergency or disaster. And really the purpose of that is to make sure that all that is coordinated, that there's not a duplication of effort or resources that are being requested redundantly as well, to make sure that that's as efficient as possible, but also making sure that we are going through the proper channels to coordinate with the state. And then also making sure that if we have requests that go through for funding, things like that, that's all being pushed up through the right mechanisms to the state and federal government.
Sounds like communication's a big part of the office and your role.
Absolutely. Communication is the number one thing to fail during any disaster or emergency. It's usually where we have breakdowns just because one thing doesn't get passed along in one format or another. But it's also the strong point as well. So our office has multiple means of communication. We can communicate obviously through phone calls. People can dial into 911. That information can then be forwarded on to those response agencies, to our office. We have radio systems that we can use. And then also we have mass notification capabilities. So we just recently transitioned back in April from Code Red as our mass notification system to our Genasys mass notification system. People can sign up for that on our website, mijackson.org, or you can also go to michigan.gov/miready and find the link there to sign up for all the counties in Michigan that have opt-in services to receive those emergency alerts.
And that would be downloading an app on your phone in order to get those emergency alerts?
You can download the app, or you could just sign up on the web page to receive text message alerts, phone calls, and emails as well.
Okay, so it's that simple. And the kinds of things, train derailed with chemicals, tornado warning, will those kinds of things be what you would activate that system for?
Absolutely. So any type of major emergency where we need to get a message out to the public to allow them to take action for their safety is where we would utilize the app. So we're not going to be using it out for non-emergency stuff. Typically, it's only going to be for emergency situations, and it's going to be sometimes only by certain geographical areas. So we have the ability within the system to essentially draw a polygon or a shape of an area that we want to alert, and we would then be only selecting those people within that have either opted in, or if it's a certain level of emergency, we can also push it out through wireless emergency alerts and also the emergency alert system, what you might be familiar with from the TV banners that come on and the kind of buzzing noise that you've heard in the past. Those systems can also be activated within our mass notification platform. But if you do the opt-in, it would be just that you want to opt in for all messages, and then we can select if it applies to the area that you're in or not. So if some part of the county is not being impacted, we may not push out a message to the entire county, for instance, so that not everybody's getting that alert fatigue, if you will.
You can activate an EAS alert?
We can, yes.
Now this geographic thing, so if I'm signed up and I live in Leone Township, but I happen to be over in Summit Township, and that's the area that might be threatened by a tornado. Would you find my location, or would you base it on where I live, where I signed up?
It's going to be based on the device and the address that you register as well,
Okay.
so both. So if something's going on at home, you would still be alerted even if you're out of the area.
Oh, wow. All right, so it's free,
Yep,
To sign
100%
up.
free to sign up.
and we're not giving up any sensitive data of our own.
Nope, not at all. We receive or collect no data on our end other than your phone number and your name and the information that you put in there for us to be able to provide that alert.
So we've done some upgrades, I understand, of our 911 system. Do you feel like we're in good shape in terms of being able to communicate during an emergency?
Absolutely, yeah. So our 911 system has had many good technology advances that allow them to receive information from that end user in a variety of formats, so that you can text 911 if you're unable to call. They are able to have translation services there, and you can also actually do video links with 911 as well. So if you are unable to really describe what's going on, you can actually have your camera on your phone enabled. They will push a message to you, a link on your phone, and then you would activate that, and essentially they would have access to your camera with your permission to be able to see what's going on at that emergency scene. So some really great technology that exists out there for people to be able to communicate with our 911 center and provide that information to the first responders.
I would imagine that it would be so important for someone who is really unable to speak, physically unable, or they're in a situation where they can't because maybe they're being held captive.
Sure.
And I think we had a situation, not here, but a week or so ago, where they were able to get to 911 and they were pretending to order a pizza, and the 911 operator picked up on what was going on, and they were able to respond. But I would imagine that would be a perfect example of being able to send a video to 911 people to show that, oh, this isn't a pizza situation.
Sure. Yeah, if somebody might be under duress, sometimes the words that come out might be different than what's actually going on. So being able to have that additional layer of technology to help that dispatcher on the other end actually determine what's going on is very valuable in those situations and can literally be life-saving.
And location, that's another thing. So I've been in a situation where I'm on the highway, and maybe you want to report something, but maybe you don't really know where you are. It's like, I think I'm just past Chelsea, but I'm not sure. There's something better now that can pinpoint where you are.
Yeah, so the dispatchers can utilize the GPS technology that's built into the phones, and a new component of that is an application called What's 3 Words, which can be sent out through the dispatcher's portal. And essentially, if you have this app or you download it as they give you a link to it, it can allow you to essentially provide 3 words to them to describe your location versus trying to communicate the numbers for the latitude and longitude that might exist. So instead of having to try to tell dispatcher on the other end that you're at 42 north, 84 west, whatever it might be, you could now just use those 3 words to communicate to a dispatcher to describe your location. And that's also something that I know our 911 director has also been working with the DNR to try to get some of that capability out on our trail system, so that people that are utilizing the trails can learn how to use that technology and can pass that information along in areas that might be difficult to describe where you're at, as you kind of mentioned with the highway situation.
I was just looking up ours because we downloaded What 3 Words a couple weeks ago, and I had forgotten my 3 words. Do you need to remember them, or having the app is enough?
Having the app is enough. It will tell you. And what's really neat about the What 3 Words app is it breaks down the entire globe into 10-foot by 10-foot squares. And every 10-foot by 10-foot square has those 3 unique words.
In the whole world.
In the whole world.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so guys, do you remember our 3 words here from the last time? So Austin thinks window is one of the 3 words. That alone wouldn't get an ambulance here, would it?
You need all 3 words.
All 3 words, okay. No, window, that's good. Gift, window, agent. So Austin, good job, you got one of the 3. So an ambulance might come. So basically, what do you want people to know? Download the app, sign up.
Yep, so download the What Three Words app. That'll just make it a little bit more efficient and quick for the dispatcher if they're able to send you that link to be able to gather that information of where you're located, and they can provide that information to first responders. So it's a very good app to have on your phone. Again, it's free to have. And then in addition to that, our Genasys Protect app is available to everybody free. You can sign up for that, and if you're in our area, we'll push out our messages. You'll get that through your app, as well as text messages, phone calls, and email, depending on what you sign up for.
Cool, good to know. Any emergencies going on right now?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right.
I'm sure they are. Dispatches always has something
Yeah.
going on.
All right, good to see you. Corey, thanks for being with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you, Bart.
The Director of Jackson County Office of Emergency Management, Corey Kubik.